Hi, welcome to Alley Oop. I'm Allie. I'm here with Jake and Phil today, and we're going to do a weekly roundup and talk a little bit about how the men's and women's teams have been doing the past few weeks. We're going to start with the ladies, who have kind of been having a pretty good run the past few weeks. They won big games against Purdue and Minnesota on the road, and they're currently up against Northwestern at home here, would be a big win for them. They're in the 19th seed, so we're going to talk about maybe where that has them placed for the March Madness seeding and how things are looking for the team.
Yeah, so I think you said that they're kind of looking at like a 9 or 10 seed with their current record, but a strong finish to the year, maybe kind of get up around like 6 or 7 would be great. That way they don't have to play like the top talent in the NCAA for women right away, because it tends to be kind of like outsized towards the top. Like it's hard to make it through far in the tournament if you're not like a 1 or a 2 maybe. But they've been playing great. I mean, Naz Hillman has been excellent as always. She won NCAA Women's Player of the Week 2 weeks ago, following a consistent double-double like we know that she's going to do every week. And then she also put up a double-double against Purdue, along with Akinrae Johnson, who has been hot as well following the injury to Kayla Robbins. So great to see them playing well.
Yeah, a couple of big wins for the Lady Wolverines. Had a blowout win on the road against Minnesota recently, followed by an impressive home victory against Purdue. Boilermakers, always a solid women's team. So really nice to see them continue to rack up the wins in conference play. And starting with the opportunity tonight, it's going to be exciting to see them hopefully take opportunity of some chances for some big wins down the stretch.
Yeah, I think if they win tonight, we can see the ladies maybe taking a 6 seed, like you mentioned, which would be great for them in the tournament. And looking at the men's team this past week, we got to see them play in-state rivals Michigan State here at Chrysler. And they won that game looking pretty confident and had another good game last night. But what did we think about the Michigan State game?
Yeah, the Michigan State game was really exciting because obviously the biggest storyline was the return of Isaiah Livers and helping Michigan to snap a 4-game streak to in-state rival Michigan State.
Right.
Nice to see Xavier Simpson get one last win over rival Cassius Winston. I believe that rivalry ended up right around 500, and obviously probably the biggest win of the season for the Wolverines at this point. So it was nice to see them take that momentum from Michigan State and get back on the right track as we, again, continue to look down the stretch.
You talk about momentum, I think that definitely carried over into the Northwestern game on the road last night. I mean, they looked like a far superior team throughout, so great to see. You can clearly tell that it's a different team with Isaiah Livers on the court, and Xavier seems to have put his small incident behind him,
right,
and the team seems to like really be gelling right now. So I think it's kind of perfect timing. Again, it sucks that they missed Isaiah missed 9 games because they can't get that back, and I think that really kind of put a crutch on the season. But they're still certainly within range of making the tournament, if not getting like a single-digit seed. I think is somewhat feasible. So the season's not over. It's actually just getting started, so I'm excited to see where we can go.
Yeah, you mentioned them starting to really gel well, and at one point last night at the Northwestern game, they mentioned that we'd had 9 people play and score for the team, which is kind of unusual for the men's team.
Definitely. Good to see Cole Bajma get on the court. I haven't seen that in a long time.
Johns and DeJulius getting some good run off the bench as well. Hopefully those guys can continue that. Johns, it's going to be fascinating to see how his time starting and getting some bigger minutes is going to help him come off the bench and play more high energy, less starter reliant minutes coming down the stretch. But DeJulius also had a rough stretch there in January, so nice to see a couple shots go down for him and look more comfortable running the offense off the bench.
Yeah, it's also been nice to see the minutes Davis has been giving us recently. I mean, last night Teskey was really struggling out of the gate, and those are huge minutes for him and big points that he brought the team.
He was good against Sparty too, honestly. I mean, Teskey's been kind of MIA, especially on the well, I guess more so on the offensive end than the defensive end.
Right.
Davis is kind of like, he's been playing good offense, not as good defense, but kind of having that 1-2 combo of the 2 centers has been really nice. And I mean, you have to wonder if Juwan Howard's experience as a power forward is kind of allowing Davis to kind of grow under his wing, where we didn't see that with Beeline. I mean, I guess Teskey's kind of going the opposite way, so maybe that's not a great argument, but it is interesting for sure.
It's been interesting to see the few sets and periods that he's let them play together, and I'm like, we have either Teskey or Davis playing the 4 right now. Like it's been weird, but it's definitely a different side of like that big, showing a little bit of a big man Michigan basketball team.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see how both these teams finish up this year. We're hoping that they'll both have a strong close to the season. Catch us next week to hear all about how that's going for them.